Let me hear you say yeah. Let me hear you say yeah. All day, all day, all day. We done came to play. And Chris Rock talking shit about his man that hit him in the face when it was at the Grammys in the place. And it's all cause entanglements can't hang with it. And your boy from the little not Los Angeles. I'm trying to get with it. I'm sick with it. And when in your district, drinking on the liquid. Hey, bars on deck today. What's poppin', everybody? Y'all already know what it is. It's time to good talk, all that blurred stuff. And we do it on a Saturday morning with your new Saturday morning cartoons. Oh, it's a lot going on. Make sure that y'all tune in, hit that like, hit that share button, share us with a friend, and jump on in the comment section. It is good for the getting. And we talking about enough things going on today. Just a few updates real quick before we get into the Chris Rock slapping back. Y'all already know Creed came out last week, and there's enough to talk about that. Guardians of the Galaxy dropped a new trailer not too long ago, and that's coming up soon. Shazam hits this month, and I don't even know if I want to go see that because this dude is tripping, man. I don't know, the DC dudes be tripping for some reason, man, but that's a whole subject. Your boy Nick Cannon evidently was pegged possibly for a reality show where he may be having his 13th baby. I don't know. We'll see if it's true or not. Also, what's going on in the world of Last of Us? It is definitely killing it right now, as well as you already know. We got to talk about the homie Mando and little baby Grogu. As you know, he is out there using the Force, doing his thug thizzle. We also have a special guest this morning, and we can't wait to talk to him about things that happen with comedy. I want to introduce y'all, reoccurring guest, one of our favorites, to be honest. But for right now, y'all, I think we should go ahead and get into the show. What say you, Yvette?
I love the new blurred order. You should too.
Whoa.
Let me get all this 10P Wayne. All the niggas rapping about the same old thing. I've been coming through with the same old gang. Ain't shit changed except 9 got a name. Got it out the mud but we got no stains. Cold ass nigga with a gold ass chain. The girl call me daddy, not my government name. Money on my mind, got them bands on my brain. Let me tell y'all about a nigga I know. The nigga stay clean so he always got hoes. Light skinny bitches like...
Yo. So thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to everybody who's watching on Twitch, on Twitter, on Facebook, and on YouTube. And big up to everybody else who's listening on our iHeartMedia, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and our other sites. Today we want to get kicked off with a little bit of pop culture news. Some of y'all may have heard that Chris Rock is coming out swinging as he is finally addressing that whole debacle that went down with him and he who shall not be named, shall we say. Here's a couple of the things he said right quick.
Everybody knows. Everybody fucking knows. Yes, it happened. I got smacked like a year ago. Fucking last week, I got smacked in the fucking Oscars by this motherfucker. And people like, did it hurt? It still hurts. I got summertime.
He said a whole lot. I don't want to sit here and play too much to the point where we get canceled because, I mean, he does want to sell the show. But I think that it's interesting that he's finally coming out. Has he been waiting all this time? Has he been letting this fizzle? Has this been something he's discussed with his therapist, his Catholic priest? Who knows, man? All I know is that this is stand-up comedy at its finest, and we want to go ahead and introduce who's on the panel today so we can discuss this. I am obviously your boy, the real Vince Taylor, Blurred Man himself, reporting live from the Spider-Man cave, and along with me, we have Nolly at our side. We got Yazzie. Oh, dang, what it do? We got Steph on deck. Yes, Queen. You already know what it is. And you know the whole new blurred order clue. Unfortunately, Ty not feeling too well. And Tyrone not feeling too well. And Bad Ty has some things that he may have to attend this morning. But we ain't gonna leave y'all hanging, and I'm not gonna be the sole representative of the X chromosome up in her. I don't know if I probably shouldn't say that. Let me keep that stuff away. But my homeboy came, man, to represent as well. You've seen this dude all over the place on TV. You seen him on BET, Def Jam. You see him fresh off of tour with the homie some more as well. Kane in his own right goes by Luke Stage, and just in case y'all didn't know, this man he been doing it for a long
Know
time.
your limitations. Even though I'm big, I'm not a thick dude. I'm skinny. You got to know your limitations when you skinny. Can't be out here with no tank top on. You see these guys, all they wear is a tank top? They be out chilling. I don't have what you call a tank top body. You got a tank top. I got to put my tank top on over top of something like a hoodie or a sweater. I'm just saying, ain't nothing sexy when your tank top sliding off your shoulder like a negligee. You got. My name is TuRae, man. Y'all have a good night. I'll holler at you.
I've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, he still ain't done. My man still popping out with the greats, man. Here's something recent, bro, that went viral online.
Shit get downright petty when you ain't contributed. Things get said that can't be taken back. All of a sudden, my mom a bald head bitch. You understand? Shit get petty when you ain't contributing. I had to learn how to eat loud food quiet. Because obviously the crunch was getting on her fucking nerves.
Fresh off tour with the queen herself, who currently is out shopping her Netflix special. I want y'all to help me welcome to the platform one of our faves to have her with us. Please help us welcome in the one and only TuRae. What's happening, TuRae, bro? You all right there, fam?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me. How y'all?
We good, man. We good now that we got you in the building, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I was about to, it's about to be me and I didn't had no problems this morning and mess around, say the wrong thing and get jumped. You know what I'm saying? With set it off girls around me.
You definitely don't want that.
Nah, man. Well, listen, real quick, man. We want to go ahead and kick this off. And shout out to everybody watching us on Twitch as well. I forgot to mention Twitch. I see that the game, that Comedy Hub is pulled up. So all y'all watching on Comedy Hub, appreciate y'all, man. Go ahead and stick around because we have enough to discuss. And the first thing we're going to talk about is revisiting this little slap that happened with the homie Chris Rock. Now, Chris Rock, as you all know, did recently come out with his special on Netflix where he is finally addressing this slap. And as somebody who also performs on stage, bro, I wanted to ask a king himself, TuRae, how do you feel about the fact that Chris Rock is finally addressing this slap? Do you think he should still be talking about this? Is it too late? Is he money grabbing? How you feel about it, homeboy?
I think you're not gonna tell me what to talk about and when to talk about it as an artist. So I'm not going to do that to Chris. And I think he's if you I didn't get a chance to see the special, but I do know the tour that he went on right after the incident. He was speaking on it on stage. It's hard for any comedian not to address immediately what's happening. So but they were great at not letting people leak that. So he spoke on it. He's been speaking on it all year. If you know anything about Chris Rock, he's not a walkout comic. Like he's practiced. So that bit that he did, he's probably been doing that for 4 or 5 months. That's what he wanted to do. Like I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem with him doing it. I don't have a problem with him monetizing it. I don't have a problem with none of that. What I have a problem with is not a problem because I'm not Chris Rock, but
right.
This is the debate. The Oscars would have been over. You're not going to slap me and then walk back to your seat. The Oscars would have been, and of course, when I say it, oh man, that's because you 6. It has nothing to do with that. Like, if Will Smith would have wore my ass out on that Oscar stage, he would have had to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't and then go back to your seat and then talk shit from your seat. Like, yo, blah, blah, blah. Listen, I don't care how much money he make. I don't care how many tours he do. I don't care how salacious his material is. Somebody, somewhere, at a cookout, one day, it's going to be like, yeah, but we'll still smack shit out you. The smack is forever. And that's why that's why people say, when you get a little, when you're young, when people say shit to you, you're not really paying attention. But when you get a little older, it's like, I get, That's why people say a disrespect needs to be addressed immediately.
Yeah.
You cannot let it linger because you'll never be able to get it back. And like I said, it ain't about size, it ain't about strength, it ain't about being a tough guy. I'm just saying, even if he whooped my ass, they'd have been like, the story wouldn't have been Will Smith smacked Chris Rock. It'd been like, they was fighting at the Oscars. That would have been the story, like, yo, because it would have went down. Like, even when people tried to restrain me, I'd be like, oh, you with this nigga? Yo, I'd have snapped. Like,
yo,
you got at that point, what you got to lose? And that could have been a story. Hey, I remember the times hosting the Oscars and I tore that motherfucker up. Remember that? So what was it all about? I don't know, but I'd never host the Oscars ever again.
Yo. Well, first of all, I wouldn't be the one to fuck with TuRae anyway, you know what I'm saying? Because TuRae is like the size of the Jolly Green Giant himself, you know what I'm saying? Like, dude is big, bro. Like, I remember when I first met TuRae, I was like, oh, what's up, bro? You would look a lot taller than you do on Facebook, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't trying to fuck with him. Plus, he from Philly, you know what I'm saying? And Philly go hard, I heard. Yeah,
I mean, it's just, again, man, I've been doing comedy 30 years. I'm 6'6", 240 now. You know what I'm saying? I remember I used to be 6'6", 170. You know what I'm saying? And those that know, niggas that do that, know it. Like, they look dead in your face like, you fool. I don't care how tall you are. Like, you know what I'm saying? They knew I'm not about that life. I'm just saying, as a grown man, I can't walk around with fear in my heart. Like, I gotta handle that. Like, you know, I'm the dude that be like, I smack everybody. I'm like, well, you might as well smack me first, because I need to move forward. I can't be in here like, oh, you gonna smack shit up. I can't like that. So, but yeah, for me, again, I'll give Chris credit because in the sidebar, JB Smooth is in our Madden chat. You know, we play Madden. There's a Madden chat full of comedians. And JB Smooth is in Red Grant, JB Smooth, Rodney Perry, bunch of vets, bunch of kings, bunch of great comedians in the Madden chat. But JB Smooth was telling us about, you know, he's like, you know, I was the first motherfucker to see him after that. And I said, see who? He was like, Chris. Like, I was at the Oscar party and he walked in. And listening to this story that JB, I felt bad because I know that part. Like, Like, everybody saying him get smacked. And everybody, you know, had to control Will and all of that. But there's a moment that Chris is alone and he just got smacked. And JB said the first person he seen was him. And he said to JB, he said, man, everybody was laughing. And I take that, like, Chris didn't understand why that happened. Like, he was like, everybody's laughing. Like, why did that happen? But for him to say that to JB Smooth, you know, JB got this joke. It's a classic joke. Everybody was laughing. He said, you ever get in a fight, watching a fight? He said, two dudes be fighting like, he said, and then they be like, oh, chill. What the fuck are you laughing at? And he said, everybody, he said, everybody was laughing. Everybody was laughing.
Yo, well, I don't know. I got some opinions on this, but real quick, I think only one of us has actually seen it. Before we go to Nolly, who I think actually watched the special and get her opinion on it. Yes, I mean, we talked about the slap when it first had popped off, and I know we all went kind of hard on Will Smith. But just curious, like, what are your thoughts on Chris Rock coming out and finally defending himself with what it is that he does best, comedy?
I don't know. I just feel like TuRae does, you know, like in the moment, you know, you can't let shit linger and then come out with it later. You know what I'm saying? That like a in the moment kind of thing, especially like it was public, in front of the whole world. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those things, you know, you just like don't wait to come out with a comedy show and then try to, I don't know. I didn't get to see all of it. I only saw like the first 30 minutes of it. It wasn't bad. It was actually pretty funny. He had some great points on certain things, you know. But yeah, I just I don't know. He should just let that out. Like,
yeah, I don't
know.
know.
What I'm saying? Like, it's been months. You know what I mean? Like you should just let it out. Like now you're bringing it back. Now there's gonna be the memes are coming back. You know, you're circulating basically like your way to become like the meme troll. You know what I'm saying? Like you're about to be trolled so hard again. I'm just saying.
This is why. This is what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's all I'm like. You put that on yourself. That's all I'm saying. Like, I mean,
I'm one of them. Everybody gonna be embarrassed. Everybody gonna be like. I'm one of them flip the table over niggas. Like, fuck it. Fuck it. Let's talk. Like the conversation is not gonna be he smacked shit out of me. It's gonna be he went off. Like, did you? Like, it'll be so extreme. It'll be like, I mean, all he did was smacking. All that wasn't necessary. Like, they'd have to tranquilize me. They'd be like,
no. They hit him with the dart.
Not the dart, because the dart ain't sure. The joint would actually walk up on you. You got a nigga around your neck.
Yo,
that would have had to be. Other than that, no.
Yo, hey, he made me squeal. All right, hold on.
Because look, you know, and the fact that we have women here, like a lot of women was talking, there's all that turbulence online. A lot of women was talking that shit and Will Punk and all. I'm like, all right, Chris Rock is your man. You good with his response being 15 minutes of material? You ain't never gonna get mad at him and go, hey, quiet down. Be screaming at me. You ain't say shit to Will. That ain't never gonna come out your mouth.
Oh
all right, then. Keep it real. I just keep it real. That's all I'm saying.
Yo, I never thought about that. Like,
you gotta think it through. Man, you see this? I can't let that nigga smack me. They be like, yeah, all right, man. I be like, yo, why you out so late? Will said I could stay out late.
Damn.
I never thought about that. Like, he got slapped in public, and then he got to try to have a relationship. You can't swipe right on Twitter when you the nigga that got slapped, right? I mean, on Twitter, whatever that little thing.
You can't raise your voice, man.
Bruh, your woman can just, hey, bruh.
Man, she side-eyeing you anyway. Your lady side-eye you anyway.
Oh, my God.
We just came in from the Oscars, and you ain't do nothing.
You know, that remind me of, what's that, Talent? Remember Talent had that joke he did where he was like, you can't get robbed, you know what I'm saying? And then you try to ride home with you. You know, he's like, why you let him take my shit like that? Like, that's what I feel like. Like, Chris Rock is basically almost dehumanized, emasculated, all of that all at once. And now he's going to have to deal with that for the rest of his life. So the way I feel is like he had to come out swinging. You know what I'm saying? He had to. I mean, he can't hold the mic. He can't fight Chris like Will Smith. But before we get into that, welcome back, Steph. Real quick, Nolly actually did see the special. So Nolly, what's your honest opinion on the special? And on a separate note, what's your opinion on him finally having the courage, if that's what you want to call it, to clap back?
So I didn't watch the whole thing because it's just, I don't know if it's because I'm autistic or what, but comedy specials I never really sit through because I don't sit there and I'm like, I sit there, I'm like, oh, that's funny, you know? So it's not really like the first thing I go to. And so I tried watching it because I was like, I know we're going to talk about this, so I should start watching it. It wasn't that funny. I mean, it had moments, but it wasn't like I wanted to ha 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 with everybody. I was not ha ha haing. I was like maybe a smirk at best, but I feel like I know he's been doing the material for a bit, but it feels a little late, just a little bit. Like you can't be loud now because you got the Netflix special, sir. Like I know you had that answer for a little bit.
The hesitance in your voice is what it is. It is what it is. You can't. That's why it's hard for all of us to explain it. It's like I remember dude having a young juvenile first apartment, had the roommate situation. 3 men, and we growing up trying to figure it all out. You know, we had that little argument. One of my boys said it. He was like, it's me and this nigga arguing, and my boy who ain't had nothing to do with the argument, just listening. And he was like, my man said something that he talking about, man, you last week when you did that, I ain't say nothing. My man chimed in, he was like, you should have said something last week.
Exactly, man.
And I just took that in life, like, hey man, disrespect need to be addressed right here, right now.
Yeah. You let it
see that? You see the last episode of BMF? That's all I'm gonna tell you. If you ain't see it, I'm gonna do that to somebody.
Speaking of BMF, shout out to Courtney, who just followed us, the creator of Power, on Instagram. Big deal, man. Big things happening. Steph, we're waiting to hear your opinion on this. What say you about Chris Rock and his slapback, as we call it?
I didn't see the special. I heard it was mid, which was disappointing. You guys hear how I use that Gen Z slang, just slid it in? I've been waiting to use that word. She took advantage of my opportunity.
Loving it.
But I heard that it was not great, which is disappointing because Chris Rock is clearly a brilliant comedian. Like, if ever you are going to bring your A game, this is the moment to do so. So I absolutely think he had every right to respond whenever and however he wanted to. The man got slapped on stage. He should make $1 million off of this.
True.
But I heard it was not that great. And yeah, I do have the Barbie workout shirt. I was asked about what I'm eating. So I was cranberries, almonds, and cheese. I'm not going to show you the brand because I'm not sponsored. But if somebody did want to, I would absolutely hold up the logo and talk about it. So my DMs are open. Sponsor me. Thank you. In a non-sexual way, in a professional product way, to be clear.
Yeah. Enough of the hey pretty lady stuff.
Yeah. Don't slide on my DMs with that.
Yeah, I don't know what I will never know what it's like to be a woman, but the closest I'll get is having a woman as our profile picture and having random dudes trying to get at us.
I was about to say something, but ask Chris Rock.
Oh my God! Yo, I'm done. I'm done for the day. Well, I mean, I honestly, like I said, I didn't see the special. I'm looking forward to watching it. Like I've heard mixed reviews about it as well. I think that the major attraction to the special is that he did address this slap. But I think one of the things that he said that was the truest, which is actually what he's saying here in this video, is he's saying he got mad at Jada basically and took it out on me. He hit me because he know that I can't fight, which is some bitch ass shit. And that frankly is true. I mean, some of the stuff that he said, I mean, I always thought that, and I said this when it happened, I was like, he hit Chris Rock, but he wouldn't have hit The Rock. You know what I'm saying? He wouldn't have hit Dwayne Johnson. He wouldn't have hit, he might have hit old Dave Chappelle, but not new Dr. Dre, creatine Dave Chappelle. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Yeah, I just think that he was selective in who it is that he liked to hit. I mean, we're talking about a guy who basically, like he said, does movies with his shirt off. You know what I'm saying? Here's Will Smith, big I Am legend, Rock in his own self. He played Muhammad Ali. Here's a dude who actually is sitting here doing pull-ups in his freaking movies and stuff like that, versus a guy who literally was in a movie just because he looked like he fit the part of somebody who smoked crack. I don't know if that necessarily is an even fight. You're going to pick a fight with this dude as opposed to anybody with one muscle? Like Chris ain't have one. Chris's only muscle is in his mouth. And that's why he used it while he was on stage. So I just think that that's some bitch assness for Will Smith to come out. And I think it exposed him as well. It's not the first time he slapped somebody. Remember, he had a journalist when he was overseas somewhere doing a red carpet event. And the journalist said something to him and he slapped him like that. Like,
tried to kiss him
with the wrist and all that. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
he tried to kiss him.
Oh, he tried to kiss him. Yeah, and then he did.
Yeah. You gonna get slapped. Hold tight, man. Hold tight. I disagree. I think, don't get me wrong, in that moment, there's a lot, because a lot of people don't know. There's we look at it from home and the isolated incident, and Will and Jada are Hollywood royalty. Like, they worth more to Hollywood than Chris Rock is. They've made more money for Hollywood than Chris Rock ever will.
True.
When he we comedians and live in a comedy world, you gotta understand. Remember the year previous when they boycotted, but not the year previous, whatever year that was that they boycotted. Mm-hmm. And it was Oscar So White, and Chris did that joke about Jada Smith boycotting the Oscars is like me boycotting Rihanna's panties. I wasn't invited. He said that on stage at the Oscars, right?
He did.
That shit panned out. Immediately when I seen it, I was like, oh, everybody in this bitch laughing at that. Now, we move forward. Like, you gotta understand, they live out there. Chris Rock don't live in Hollywood. They do. Will and Jada do. They at the market. They like, girl, You let Chris say that slick shit?
Ooh,
there was a conversation where Chris was pulled to the side and told, listen, keep my wife's name out your mouth. We like you. You heard the Mace interlude. We like you. My kids dance to you. Don't call my girl no more. It was one of those. And Chris thought that the Oscars was a safe place. And Will remind, that's why when he sat back down, he said, yeah, like I told you.
He did. But I mean,
so if it was The Rock that was running his mouth, I don't think that, like, don't get me wrong, Rock ain't a comedian. I think if Will had to step to The Rock, he would have. But whatever happened would have happened right then and there. Because The Rock was like, what you think you're talking to? That's the difference. It's like, you named all them big dudes. Them niggas wouldn't have let him do that to them. Like, even if he smacked all of them, they wouldn't have let him walk away and get back to his seat. Like, he could have jumped on his back or something. They'd have had to go to commercial. I'm upset. I'm upset all over again. There's no way. Why did it continue? Like, he was standing there like, okay, the next award, get the fuck out of here.
And then got another award. Then they came back out, sat down, kept cussing him out, and then they awarded him with, what was it? Was it the best?
He won best actor.
Best actor of the year after the slap.
He won the Oscar. The big one. The only one over that is best picture.
I mean, Chris Rock had to, it's interesting that, I'm very fascinated by the notion that what was it? My man JB Smooth, you said that he was sitting. Tell us what happened again. You said he was sitting in the room and at the party he was all by himself.
Right. No, at the after party, Chris. If you know Chris, and I don't know him to say more than hello, but he's a quiet guy. He really is. He can be in a room full. He's nothing like Tony. Tony top of the table dancing, great life of the party. Chris is quiet. Don't matter who in the room. And he said when he came, JB said he was at the after party that everybody goes to, the big names and all that. He said when he came in, Chris was by himself as he normally is. He said the first person he walked over to was JB, and JB is in his head like, how I'm gonna carry this because I know how what he's saying. He said the first thing he said was everybody was laughing, and that's my humanity part because my heart aches for him there because as a comedian. He doesn't understand what just happened, but also as a man, everybody was laughing, and now they're laughing at me.
Yeah,
like that. Yeah. That's something, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying TuRae. I'm not saying that Chris should have, because if that's not who he is, that's not who he is. But TuRae can't because I can't deal with this. He may be able to. I can't. I've been at that nigga house. Like, you gotta holler at me, man. I gotta talk to you for a second. Like, every time I see, I'm like, holler at you. I'm with my kids. Ain't nothing. Put them kids in the car or something. So I got to holler at you, man. And you can. That's like when we watch. I said this about R. Kelly and the R. Kelly situation. It was always like, my daughter with the parents that knew where their kids was, and my daughter's in that room. I'd be like, his security would get tired of me. They would get tired of whooping my ass. They'd be like, man, this old man out here again. I'd be like, and I'm gonna be here every day until I get to my kids. What you mean? My kids is right behind that door, and I can't. Well, I guess I'm going to beat my ass. And Will Smith might get tired of beating my ass. But yo, listen, I'll be back. Where you gonna be at the matter of fact? You at the movie premiere? I know where you be at. Yo, like he easy to find.
All right, well, a couple quick questions real quick. So Steph brought up in the chat about his joke about he watched Emancipation just to see Chris Rock get whooped, just to see Will Smith get whooped. Is that too far? Is that too edgy? Is that right on key? What's your opinion, TuRae?
I don't know, man. I don't watch movies like that I don't watch movies where my people don't look anything but glorious. I really don't.
Right.
I go as far as I can go with science fiction and all of that because you allow it to be science fiction. But I'm cool on all the slave movies. I'm cool on all the we gonna come up, we gonna make it, we shall overcome crap. I'm good on that. But again, man is in a dark place, man. He gonna say some dark shit.
Yeah.
He is. That's the shit that they let go on Netflix. So they let it. Well, you know, it was a live event. So, but I'm just saying, I'm sure amongst his friends and family, he said worse than that.
True.
So
True.
I guess I don't have a problem with it because it's coming from a hurt place. He's hurt.
What you think, Steph? Is too much? Is too much? You think he's stepping
I don't
to?
think it's too much. I wouldn't say it's a particularly tasteful joke, but Chris Rock is a black man, so he can make that joke. You know, Jerry Seinfeld can't make that joke. But
Right.
Chris Rock, yeah, he can say that. It's
Definitely Omar.
yeah, I
Definitely
get it.
Did you see somebody just posted the when, and it's an old clip of when Chris Rock, Louis C.K.
Yeah.
And then they said it. And Ricky, so Chris Rock and Louis C.K. are talking to Ricky Gervais and Jerry Seinfeld. And the reason Louis C.K. says, "Oh, you guys don't say nigga." This Louis C.K. says nigga. And Chris Rock goes, "Oh yeah, this guy's the whitest nigga I know." And they laughing. And Jerry Seinfeld says, I don't think you're qualified to say that.
Yeah.
Like, and he's talking to Chris like, I don't think you can.
He's talking to Chris.
He's talking to Chris like that. Just what are you saying? What traits does he embody that makes him? But Jerry didn't want to go into it, so he was simply like, I don't think that you qualify to say that. This the same dude though that y'all rallying for and all this black. You got to watch it because, as Rodney Perry said, Chris Rock is not a black comic. He's a comedian.
Yes.
His success does not. When you sitting around barbershop talk and y'all talk about your top favorites, Chris Rock's name is not in that list. It's not. Don't act like it is now.
Yeah, I think there was a time when he had all of our attention. I think when bigger, bigger.
You know who Chris Rock is now? And DL Hewley probably does this with it. Remember Damon Wayans' special years ago, one of his first specials? I think it was his first special. He said, you know what they do? He said, when you get some success and they money, he said they make you their special nigga and they put the mic in your face and they go, Damon, do you think there's racism?
Yo.
And they give you the mic and you go, well, if it is, I ain't seen none. That's kind of who Chris Rock is now. He's a reporter to our world. Meaning, and I'm not saying he's not a black man. I'm not saying he's a sellout. What I'm saying is his fame, money, and attention does not come necessarily from the black community. Meaning, when his tickets go on sale, we ain't the ones buying them first.
Whew. Well, I mean, it is interesting because, like I said, I think if you look at my bio, Chris Rock, when I first started doing stand-up, was listed as one of my influences because I think that he was one of the few people at the time that could say things about uncomfortable subjects and make them comfortable. He was the one who first brought up the nigga versus black person versus black people whole ordeal, and that was a mixed audience. So I thought that was hilarious, but it did backfire because I also had a young white man somewhere in like Point St. Lucie or no New Smyrna after I did a show, literally came up to me after I smashed this show and said to my face, "So is it true that there's a difference between niggers, hard R, and black people?" And I was like, "Excuse me." He's like, "No, I'm not. No offense. I'm not trying to. I just want to know, like, because I've heard." And then I was like, "Bro, listen. I know you're young and all that, but don't be talking to me like that." You know what I'm saying? And this is when he goes to start using his black friend as a reference. No, it's okay. My friend Jermaine, he says, like, I'm like, man, if you don't get this, like,
if he was really your friend, you would have known not to ask that question.
Well, listen, this wasn't my friend. This is some dude at a show.
If he, like my friend Jermaine, no, if Jermaine, you really was friends with Jermaine, you would have known not to ask another black man that question.
Well, listen, there's other black types in the world. There's the Clarence Thomases of the world. You know what I'm saying? We also have the Benjamin Carsons, and you know what I'm saying? They exist, and those folks, they will. Tim Scott, I'm throwing you in there too. They will sit there and they will cater to the crowd that they believe is going to help them stay afloat. Because I mean, let's keep it real. Like back in the day, you know, if we watch you watch Boondocks, remember Catcher Freeman? You know, like, you know what I'm saying? Like there was folks that fought for slavery that were black. That was like, nah, massa do me nice. I don't want to end this.
What's better than what we got here? What's
You know
better
what
than
I'm
we got here? But
So
look,
those-
I don't want to be derogatory to Chris Rock because I respect him as a comedian. I look up to him as a comedian. What I'm saying is, Gary Owen is a black comedian.
Wow.
Real rap. You can sit Gary Owen in the middle of the Mall of America and nobody would know who the fuck he is. Sit that nigga in Lenox Square and see if he can eat his lunch and sit him in Lenox Mall and see if he can eat his lunch in peace. The first 5 white people the first 5 black people like, yo, that look like the white boy Gary Owen. But once they find out that that's Gary Owen,
Yo, if y'all don't know Gary Owen, he's a white comic. He's got an extremely let's call it urban
only
affect.
it ain't what it is. Like, don't tiptoe. I'll say it. He's only funny to black audiences.
Ooh, well, this is true. He's a black comic.
He's
in a white
relatively
body.
unknown by the people he looks like.
And that's because he shoots for the black audience. You know
And
what
what
I'm
does that tell you?
You are making some. You listen. The points is being made. I like to just real quick. Hopefully, this don't get us canceled. But I want to refer to this clip that you did kind of refer to. So let's take a gander right quick.
Or even their kids are rich.
Yeah.
But when a black guy gets rich, it's countdown to when he's poor again.
He's the blackest white guy I fucking know. And then all the negative things we think about black people, this fucker.
You're saying I'm a nigger.
Yes, you are the niggerest fucking white man I have ever.
Amazing. I don't think he could do that.
Oh,
what?
I don't think he has those
There's
qualities.
only 2. You don't even understand.
Really?
You don't really know him. Like, I've worked with him.
No, like your bit about.
I wouldn't use it anywhere.
No, exactly.
I wouldn't use
These
it.
two.
We
use
say
that
nigger on stage.
on stage.
You guys don't. That's
Yeah.
It's an
that's the
interesting 2
difference.
teams
That's the
here.
difference between. Yeah.
That's right.
That's
right.
Yeah.
We say nigger on
So
stage.
let
You
me
guys.
speak for itself. I mean, I couldn't see myself in that position. Just keeping it 100.
A little too comfortable with that word coming out. Like they
Yeah,
use
hard
it every
R.
day, not even on stage. They probably use it behind their friend's back.
I would have even.
Behind
And
people's back.
don't get me wrong. I got friends, but if they my friend, they know not to say. I'd have been like, "Yo, Louis, you tripping right now? You good?" I would have that. Not so much I'd have shut the taping down, but we friends. I'd be like, "You really bit relax." No, I'm just saying. I understand what you're saying, but relax. It's just like that. Like you gotta watch people and how they interact. Like I love Goodfellas as a movie, and that conversation it was about race, and she was like, you know, I could. It's talking about Sammy Davis Jr. She was like, a white girl was like, I can see how a girl can fall for a guy. Like, hey, what are you saying? And he's like, hey, you know, take it easy. He's like, no, I just want to make sure I'm not kissing Nat King Cole over here, right? And so she went on to explain herself, and Joe Pesci said, I understand what you're saying. He's a fantastic talent. He's very talented. Just leave it at that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You could have did the same thing to Louis C.K. I understand what you're saying. You do some real ignorant shit. Just leave it at that. But you the diggerest white person I know.
Yeah, there's a big difference between, let's just say, Eddie Murphy and Chris Rock. I don't think Eddie Murphy in that situation would have been like, yeah. I mean, you kind of, when watching this, you kind of
Eddie Murphy would have turned that into that skit from Saturday Night Live. And and Dan Aykroyd always loved that skit between Rich Brian and Dan Aykroyd. Dan Aykroyd said it was so hard because I knew I was going to have to say it, and Rich Brian was like, say it. But he told me to do it. He was like, I'm gonna say some words to you, and you give me the first thing that comes to your mind. He was like, cracker. He was like jigaboo. He's like cracker. He's like tar baby. He was like honky. He was like nigga. He said dead honky. One of those classic skits ever. But Dan Aykroyd was nervous because he was like, I know I'm gonna have to say nigga to Richard Pryor.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what his reaction is gonna be, and that's how it should always be.
But the reaction was a put you in check with humor type. What we see here with Chris Rock is it's all good. Nah, man, they need to stop tripping type shit.
When the other people say hold tight, Ricky Gervais and Jerry Seinfeld was both like, y'all tripping. And you don't understand. No, we don't.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it just looks hella uncomfortable. Like just sitting there watching Chris do what we would call in the community tap dancing in that moment, where he's trying to kind of cape for Louis, who ultimately ended up showing his rear end in the long run and ended up not being on the right side of history and has his own trouble. Like, look, this moment right here, like this part right here, where the white guys are like, hold the fuck up.
Right. They both like on tape. And he's the one explaining.
Yeah. And they're
Mr.
trying to
Candy.
I honestly feel like in that moment, that's the same Chris Rock that we saw on stage, who gets uncomfortable and doesn't know how to react in the moment. I feel like he was like, oh, I don't know if I really like that he said that, but I like Louis C.K., and that's my friend, and I'm going to stick up for him. I don't know how he truly feels, because I feel like he's not confident enough in his blackness, so to speak, to come out and just be like, hold the fuck up. There is a line, homeboy. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You can't say it all like that. Steph, what you think?
He seemed real comfortable with it to me. Honestly, I watch clips like that and I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I didn't fucking care that Chris Rock got smacked. Fuck Chris Rock. You sit there and let a white man say the N-word, especially with a heart, fuck you. And I'm very hesitant to call people out like that in the entertainment industry, because I'm trying to be in the industry. There's people that I would like to work with that I've seen them do some stuff that I'm like, I didn't like that, but I'm not gonna call it out because we might end up on a project together someday. Fuck Chris Rock. If you are a black man and you sit there and let any white man talk like that and you let it go, you deserve to get smacked. Find a reason. Smack Chris Rock if you see him.
Oh shit. Well, I mean, I'm not mad at that.
It's real sentiment though, man. Like, you got it like this. It's they always try. And you just gotta tell them sometimes, like, that shit ain't cool. And it wasn't just like, y'all wasn't at the crib. That's on TV.
Yeah.
That's in perpetuity for just like your smack.
Yeah. It's a shame that Jerry Seinfeld, who doesn't even curse, you know what I'm saying, has to come and basically be, the savior of this moment, because had he not said anything, then that just would have went clean on by. And
I went up for.
Go ahead, TuRae.
No.
Well, the point that I was going to make real quick before I toss it to Steph is that the problem I have the most with that type of incident is that there will be people using that exact moment to justify their use of the word. There are people that use these types of moments to throw them back at us and say, no. What about Chris Rock? The same way they do with rap music. Now listen, real quick. Let me talk to y'all real quick, because I know we got I know especially in our Comedy Hub cast, we got a lot of folks that, you know what I'm saying, may fit the persuasion of different types. We know that when you're listening to 2 Chainz and when you're listening to Kodak Black, when you're bumping that in the car, that might just slip out. But let's just let that stay in the car, all right? Let's not try to use that as a way to bond with our friends so that you can become, let's just say, cultured or one of us. Because that's not how it works. Because I'm going to keep it real with y'all. All black people don't use the N-word. I do. I ain't going to lie. You know what I'm saying? But my mama don't. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't going to say it to everybody. So don't be sitting there. I ain't going to call you a redneck if I don't know what that's what you identify as. So don't be coming up and calling us names because you hear them in a rap song and use it to justify it, especially if you hear it coming from Chris Rock, because we already know, as we just discussed, that according to TuRae, he's not even a black comic. Stephanie, what are you saying?
I just wanted to add, I have strong feelings about Chris Rock, but obviously also fuck Louis C.K. Like, that shouldn't have to be said, but for the people who are like, because I know someone in the comments would be like, oh, she's attacking Chris Rock. What about the white guys? Like, obviously, fuck them. Fuck Louis C.K. and fuck Ricky Gervais for laughing so hard and clearly enjoying it. Jerry Seinfeld is the only person on that video that I'm still okay with. I also want to add a little bit to what Vince said. Vince is giving you permission to say it in your car. I'm not. Don't say this shit in your car either. First of all, you don't have the right. Secondly, that's how you get fucked up, because you say the shit in your car and then you fuck around and say it in front of me in an improv rehearsal when we playing a game and the shit flies out your mouth, and then you want to act like you never said it before, but you did. You're comfortable. It came out now because you say it in your car. So you saying that shit by yourself is going to get your brain comfortable with the word, and it's going to come out by accident when you don't mean for it to. So don't say it in your car either, because that's how you fuck around and end up in some real trouble.
I just want to submit for the court that I wasn't giving permission. I was saying we know it happens. All right, so don't don't come for me comments, please, because it was not necessarily, hey, sure, please, in your car, we would like for you to. It was like, look, we know this is what happens. All right, so but I definitely I co-sign what Steph says. But quick question before we start to move on. Oh yeah, that's right, Daniel Biddle. What's size for my homie Daniel Biddle, who did show up. He pulled up at I can't remember. I thought it was one of them bonkers rooms out in East Bumblefuck, Ocala. And yeah, we see that's one of the things we have to deal with in Florida. You know what I'm saying? Like as a comedian in a red
my God,
state, we have to address heavy trumpet crowds. And I mean, I'm gonna call this room out. I don't give a fuck if they call me or not. There's a room called Porky's. All right, there's a room called Porky's. I don't know. I forget what city it's in. The owners they want to be comics, and I went down there because I saw a lot of my headliner friends going down there to perform, and I was like, how come? You know, TuRae, sometimes I know this don't happen to you because you get to perform wherever you want to perform, and that ain't a problem with you.
No, I don't. But go ahead. It's a good say. Hey, I'm listening. Go ahead. It sounds good.
But yo, I seen a bunch of my comic friends getting booked at this spot. You know, David Johnny, Kim Miller, a bunch of folks, and I was like, how come I don't get the like this spot is a 2-nighter? You know what I'm saying? They paying both nights. What's up, man?
You want work?
Yeah, let me get in. Let me slide on in there. And as soon as I walked in, I was like, oh, okay, the Confederate flag on the wall. Oh, the MAGA hats. Oh, the guy who starts off the show saying, "Where are the Democrats? Please get the fuck out." Oh, where are my Republicans? Even though this ain't even supposed to be a political type of thing. Oh, I see why I've never been here. You guys have seen my Instagram posts, and you know I don't fuck around like that. And that I remember because
did you say that on stage?
Well, when I got on stage, I just said this is the finest double wide I've ever performed.
I'm gonna tell you something about them shows because I've done them a lot of them. People don't really care, man. If you allow that to be what it's going to be, like I remember one time doing a show is up in Pennsylvania, and you know, as I drive further and further, Trump flags, and I'm like, oh my God, here we go. But by the time I get on stage, a couple comedians, I'm the only black person in the building, not on the show. I'm the only black person in the building. By the time I get on stage, man, I just address it. Like, listen, I'm funny, but I'm not what you expected either. Like, let's get through it. And by the end of the night, it's, man, why I've never seen you before, and blah blah blah. And if you allow that to be, but if that shit you said is funny, like, damn, I wonder why I've never been here. But y'all obviously seen my Instagram page. You should have said that to them, and they'd have booked you again. They'd be like, yeah, you got to come back. Yo,
it's funny. They did hit me up, and I was conveniently unavailable.
Yes, and now it's up to you.
But yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it 100. I would go back. I actually wasn't available. He hit me up for the New Year's Eve and New Year's show.
You don't want to go back New Year's Eve.
I'm not.
They got rituals.
Going there when they got their guns.
They got rituals. Well, you know what we do every New Year's.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah, it's December 31st, boy. You ain't gonna believe it. And we usually have 3-4 of you, but it's just you.
Oh yeah, and it's funny because there was 3 of us that night in terms of comedians, and shout out to my homegirl Julie Scoggins, hilarious, one of my comedy cohorts that we do carnival cruises together and stuff like that. She's heavy South dialect, you know what I'm saying? All right, well, I went down but she will stick up for black people and for people of for equality and all that stuff. So quick, and she puts people in their place, and even stood up for me when we was on Carnival Cruise a couple times, and a couple of those drunk passengers try to get in your face and make you tap dance, and she was like, look, he did his thing on stage. He doesn't have to tell you a joke off stage, But it was funny because I did address the crowd. Obviously, that's a part of my shtick anyway. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one that only talk with sprinkles in here, but it was a fascinating night. But it leads me to it brings me to a point where I'm thinking about times that us as comedians, TuRae, have had to deal with on-the-spot adversity, just like Chris Rock did in a sense. Have you ever, TuRae, had somebody try to fight you? Kind of like they did with man, who was that? It wasn't Red Grant. Yeah, Red Grant, I think, had to fight on stage at one point in time. I think it was Steve
Brown.
Steve Brown. It was Steve Brown.
Steve Brown.
Almost
That's
basically
on YouTube. Yeah.
Steve Brown, like, I mean, squared up. Squared up.
Like it went on so long that it was like, why is this man up on stage fighting for his life? Like, and why are y'all letting it happen? Yeah,
it's almost like they consider it a part of the act. Has anything like that ever happened to you, bro?
Nah. No. And I don't mean like that. I'm not, first of all, I'm not the comedian that people in the audience. Like, I got material. And I'm not saying that comedians don't have material if they fucking with people in the audience. I'm just saying I can, if you let me, I can be funny. If you want to go back and forth, as long as it's cordial or, cool, I'll go back and forth with you. But I need to regain control of the show at a certain point. And that's normally what I do. Like, I'll talk to you for a minute, but I'm always trying to get it back to where I'm in control and we're having a good time. So, no, I don't normally go through that. I've been through the after the show. I've been through the, the niggas trying to, talk to you, let me holler at you. Ain't nothing to holler at me about, niggas. Look, if you ain't like what I said on stage, show over. You know what I'm saying? But I've never had that type of situation happen to me. I've seen comedians go through every level of aversion. I've seen the comedians get walked up on stage, but I've literally seen 2 comedians pass out.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that don't get me wrong, I'm only smiling because they're fine. But I'm still a comedian, I'm still an asshole. But like the one was health, the one was anxiety. Motherfucker got that sold out crowd. Philly don't play. I brought the comedian down, you know what I mean? All right, you go ahead and get in, motherfucker see that sold out crowd, fainted on stage. That's the day. No. And then one was health related, but I've seen it all, man. I've seen comedians. I remember one night, and this is just quick story, magic of certain comedians. This is my co-host Buck Wild. Used to have
Buck Wild, shout out.
Yeah, he's down there now. He lives in Tampa now.
Okay.
But yeah, he's down in Tampa. As a matter of fact, I'll be down there. I'm doing a show for him on the 19th. Whatever that.
What's that you say? We got a show on the 19th? Is
that 19th,
what I just heard?
It's in Tampa. At Club Lit.
Yeah, I'm available. Thanks, bro. All right,
on my Instagram page. So I'm doing my show with Warm Dash. Buck was my co-host, and Buck is, his name implies, Buck Wild. So I'm out front talking to somebody, and the show's going on, and I'm just shooting the breeze, and 2 young ladies come out, and they moving fast, and I was like, they leaving out the show, and I'm like, man, is everything okay? And she's like, yeah, TuRae, I'm out, I'm leaving. I was like, oh, as Buck can be Buck, but it's more show. It ain't just Buck. She's like, TuRae, I come down here all the time, and I don't have no problem with Buck, or I don't have no problem with Buck normally. And then, as I'm looking, I focus in, and I realize they're a couple. It's her and her girlfriend. I'm like, okay. So she's like, but tonight, he told my girlfriend he's gonna knock the flower out of her head and fuck up the ass.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
This is exactly what I did. I went right in my pocket. I was like, so 220. I never said nothing to Buck about it though. So months later, we talk, because Buck's my boy. I've known Buck yet. And we talking, I mentioned it to him. He's like, why didn't you never say nothing? I was like, because the magic of you I would rob you. If I was to tell you, yo, chill out or calm down, that's not what you're good at. You're not good at that. You're good at being Buck Wild. And tonight, those 2 young ladies were offended, but not the whole audience, So you got to let people work, but you also got to, as a comedian, I always tell comedians, me being a black man, be mindful how many bitches is in the audience. Bitch, you hear like, us working, bitch. And I'm like, I've seen the night where a man got up, put his jacket on, older gentleman, grabbed his wife, walked right on the comedian. Comedian stopped. This at the Laugh House. This is how long ago that was. He was like, where you going? He was like, I'm leaving. He was like, what's wrong with you? He's like, I'm just trying to figure out how many bitches my wife is supposed to be tonight. And he left. Shit like that. Like, we don't always, comedians just, I should be able to do what I want. Yeah, to a point. It's because we both here in a cooperative effort. As a comedian, I'm here to entertain you. You're here to be entertained. You're not here to be insulted, ridiculed.
Right.
So we got to watch that line. And I'm not saying you can't control people or shut them down when they do get out of line, but most times people are there to enjoy the show. If they not, then they can leave. I used to have a saying, it costs to get in the soul comedy. It don't cost nothing to get out.
It's not the same at my rooms. It's free to get in, but it's $20 to leave. So if you come see me in Longwood,
I might have to incorporate that.
All right, you heard it here first. Steph, look like you had something to say right quick.
I do. I'm just so over punching down in comedy in general. Like, I just think people need to be smarter than that. I'm all for self-deprecating jokes. Make fun of yourself, make fun of your community all day. But like, I went to a show in Seattle about 2 months ago. It was a showcase of a bunch of different comedians, and there was this skinny white woman who thought it was funny to make a bunch of fat jokes. And I wanted to just be like, bitch, this is not like, no,
Right.
I wanted to catch her after the show and let her know, by the way, you were not funny. You were not funny.
Wow.
But I didn't have the opportunity. I didn't see her. I almost got up and left to make a point, but I was there to see friends who hadn't performed yet, and that's the only reason I stayed. I considered booing, but I didn't. But in that moment, I really wanted to give the feedback of, no, not a good move. You're like,
I like stuff.
Don't make fun of a community. Like, do not make fun of a community that you are not a part of. I don't understand why it's so fucking hard for comedians to. I want to make sure. Ooh, black women get so mad. We could be so sassy. I could do that shit. Oh my God, straight women, we can be so emotional about dick. I could do that shit. I'm not going to make jokes about communities that I do not belong to. It's not my fucking place. Yes. I just need people to get that through your heads.
I'll interject this, and we may disagree on this. I don't think that it's right to punch down, as Steph says. And one thing you'll never see me make is jokes about size when it comes to folks who struggle with weight, because I don't have that experience. I don't know the struggle as of this very moment, and so I don't want to, dip. I don't want folks to feel attacked. However, I do talk about cultures that I don't belong to, but I think that there is a way to do it tastefully and not in a manner that causes folks to feel ostracized or feel isolated. Because we live in Florida. I live in Florida right now, and I'm surrounded by Puerto Ricans. I'm surrounded by Haitians. There's no way in the world I can't talk about. I'm even on this show, like on this panel right now, I'm surrounded by there's a Puerto Rican and a Dominican. I'm walking to the store, and they happen to be on this podcast right now.
I'm the same person. What do you mean?
and I have to say, actually, Vince, you're right. So I am giving blanket advice.
That's super racist. She said I'm the same person.
I am. I'm Puerto Rican.
No, I'm not saying you. Heavy. Like, I got a Puerto Rican. I'm the same motherfucker.
Well,
it's me.
So this is blanket advice generally. I do agree with you, Vince, that for very smart comedians, you absolutely can make jokes about other cultures in a tasteful way and be hilarious. Unfortunately, I think most comedians are not that smart. You're one who is, I believe TuRae is, but most are not that smart. I will tell you, I wish I could remember the gentleman's name, but I saw a clip of a white comedian talking about black women. This shit was hilarious. I think I reposted it. He said something about a black woman makes, says a certain thing to you, makes a certain face, like it's time for you to run. And if you, really want to live, you probably should go into a body of water. He was like, nah, I know what you're thinking, that I'm making a joke about black people can't swim. Absolutely not. I would not make that generalization. But I am telling you, black women are not going to get their hair wet. I was like, okay, that was the direction it was going in.
It's a level of intelligence required to communicate to all people.
Yes.
You've got to have some level of being able to communicate to all people. And I always say, as long as they speak English, I think I can entertain them. I don't know how to speak any other language. But if they speak English, I think I can, I think I can be funny. I remember Samore did the LGBTQ ball in Vegas, and when she called to book me, she was like, "Have you ever done an LG?" I said, "No, but I want to." Don't discount, don't not book me because I've never done it. Like, I want to do it. And she was like, "Okay, I just wanted to know." I said, "No," and I didn't go up there and like, "Hey, what up, girl?" I went up on stage and did my material because that's what I have. I don't pander to an audience to gain their favor either. I look at it as a comedian that you have a story to tell, and that you can do it cleverly without being malicious. And that's what Steph is speaking to. You don't have to be malicious at any point. And when I say this phrase, I tell my kids this. That means it's the most honest I can be. And I always tell my kids, don't be malicious. Even, when you're growing up and a little boy like you and you're taking his gifts, if you don't like him, that's malicious. Because you keep taking his gifts and you're aware of the fact that you don't like him. If you're aware of that and you keep moving forward, that's malicious. Don't be malicious. If you're speaking on a group or people, You don't have to be malicious with it. And then we can go, and I'm gonna let you go quick, just because I always come to this story because it's such a cute joke. My friend Mark Norman, who's a comedian, white guy, and he has a great joke, and he was uncomfortable with it, so he ran it past me. He said, TuRae, do you think this is funny, or do you think people will get offended? And I said, tell it to me. And he goes, I got a black friend. My friend is he said, I don't set it. He doesn't set up like they say. My friend Corey just happens to be black. He's one of my best friends. And me and Corey always go out, but I'm always late when I wait for Corey because whenever we go out, he's got to go to the barbershop. And he's like, and I know, I'm not saying that he's late because he's black, but he's got to go get his hair cut or whatever. And he said, so Corey's always like, last time he was late, I got upset with him. I was like, why are you always late? He's like, come on, man. You know how that is. I went to the barbershop. He was like, no, I don't, because I go get my hair cut and I leave. Nigga, I fell the fuck up. I said, that's funny. He said, do you think that? I said, it's hilarious because black people, he said, we do be in the bar all day. He's like, I don't know how that is because I get my hair cut and I leave. I was like, so there's ways to be clever. And then with us, if you get this, then it's funny and it's true. When black people give you this, like we might not have thought it was hilarious. We can't be mad at you because it's true.
That part.
Yeah,
that part.
Like she said with the hair, I'm saying, I ain't saying they can't swim. I'm saying she's not going to.
I did see a white comic too had a real clever joke. He was like, there's very few reasons or ways that you can get away with saying the N-word. But one way is to be there's rules. I'm fucking this joke up, but he says there are rules. The first thing is probably because you're singing a rap song. The second reason is because you're black while singing that rap song. I fucked this joke up completely, but it went along that line. But I did have some stories as well, like real quick. As far as people coming to the stage, there's a few folks on the cruises that have just, look, you have selective. Look, the thing about cruises is that you don't go on the cruise most of the time you don't go on a cruise to see a comedian. You go on a cruise and there happens to be comedians, so you kind of go to whatever show and hope that they fit your humor. And that doesn't always happen, but the best comedians are able to adjust to any crowd type, any size, any color, any genre, any culture. But I was in Miami at the Have-Nots, the Comedy Have-Nots. And I started joking. Now me and TuRae are a little different. I'm a crowd worker. I got my material, but I like to talk to the crowd. And I like to learn their names, social security numbers, and birth dates. I started talking to one couple who I thought was a couple, and it turned out, according to the young lady, they weren't a couple. Just because they matched didn't mean they was attached, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and I was like, so who's paying for dinner? You know what I'm saying? And I start going in, like type of stuff. And the young lady was dying. This young lady was dying laughing. I just kept going in. And dude felt some kind of way, TuRae, and he rushed the stage with a knife, and he went to stab me. Dead ass serious. This shit is on tape. My homegirl, who I think was on her with this man, her name is escaping me right now. But I have witnesses, and this dude, they had to escort him out. Security had to come. He came to the stage with a steak knife from the table to handle his business. And I wasn't no bitch, you know what I'm saying? But that's first. I'm
just saying, when you're telling this story, that should have been first, but go ahead.
I wasn't no bitch. I did kind of step back 2 steps.
Right, to get your balance.
Yeah. I checked myself, made sure I had my foot right here so he couldn't just knock me off if it came down to that. But you know what I'm saying? I was literally in a knife fight with jokes, and all I could do was just keep roasting him like, oh my God, so this is how you deal with insecurity with utensils. And I just keep going on. The crowd, it got uncomfortable because obviously he rushed the stage, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, it was like a 4-foot platform, so he couldn't just come right at me, like they came at Steve Brown. But man.
What have we learned?
We learned not to go back to Miami and talk about people's as a couple. When I don't know, I ain't gonna lie, I learned that it's just crazy.
You back out in that water, huh?
Yeah,
Well,
right.
I started off in comedy college. I always teach comedians, crowd work is fine because it's easy and it's spontaneous. But don't go out in that crowd if you can't swim. That deep water will drown you. And the crowd only got to be funny one time. You got to be funny for 40 minutes. Somebody in the crowd can get you off your key with one line. They can just say it and you be like, man, you struggling to recover all night. Like, I remember one time we was in New York doing a show, and Sugar Bear, bless his soul, had a white Yankees hat on. And, he's New York, whatever, but it was corny. Like, everybody had the same thought. Like, the hat kind of corny. Even though it's a white Yankees hat, it's kind of corny. But, we don't know how to verbalize it. And he got this lady on the ropes, man. I mean, he's stomping her in the ground with all his snap. Like, he burning her down. And that lady threw up a wild right. She's like, what about that hat? Bop!
Oh!
Whole crowd was like, yeah, that hat is. It was like, yeah, that hat is whack as shit. He never recovered.
Yeah.
So if you like you said, I'm a crowd worker. There are comedians who literally go on stage with nothing and work the crowd up into their material. I'm the type of person that will walk you around. Like, if I ask you a question, I know where I'm going.
Yeah, of course.
So no matter what you say, I'm gonna take that question and get back to my material. But yeah, I always tell comedians, unless you're strong, don't go out in that crowd because it'll get you.
Yeah, shout out to Lisa. Yes, I learned nothing because I continued. That was my Friday show. Did the same shit Saturday.
Right. You must have wanted it. You're like, fuck that.
Yeah, I was like, listen, he ain't hit me, so
right. I'm
good.
Still good. I'm still winning. I'm still good.
I was like, as long as I don't see whoever that was, keep Mr. Florima away from the door, and we cool. And how about we go down to butter knives instead of steak knives at the club? Let's consider that. But yeah, man. Needless to say, as a comedian, we deal with all type of shit, man, and we're not the only comedians out there that deal with stuff. Chris Rock has to deal with his little thing, even though we have our opinions about him. But there's a guy that used to be a comedian as well, who's more of a social media mogul now, or like a big time thing on TV and whatnot. Nick Cannon, who recently it was released that he, along with another comedian, Kevin Hart, may have been planning to have a reality show called Who's Having My Baby, where women will compete to bear his 13th child. So without spoiling how this ended up, I'm wondering if this is an idea, Steph, that is in good taste, bad taste. All right, should we spill it? No, let's not spill it.
I mean, honestly, I watch a lot of things that are in bad taste. I'm Married at First Sight, Perfect Match, Are You the One? I love trash reality dating shows. That's my shit. Flavor of Love.
Oh my God.
Real Chance at Love, Rock of Love, all that shit. I was there every week. So yeah, 10 out of 10 would watch. I would watch like, this is horrific. This is so bad for the community. I can't wait for more.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Nolly, we haven't heard from you. How you feel about the idea of Nick, and then we'll shoot it over to you, to Yaz, about Nick Cannon possibly having a show where his whole family life could be on display.
That man's a mess. He needs to invest in some condoms. A vasectomy, because look, women can have one baby a year. This man could spread his seed and have as many babies as he wants in a year. We not in biblical times. We not white. That's white people Utah shit. Like,
yo, not Utah.
Oh
my God.
I'm confusion. How he remember all their names and their birthdays? Like, does he have phone memos that pop up? College is expensive and your career is not going to be lifelong, I'm sure. Like,
yo,
Damn.
Oh my God, the Utah comment, hilarious. Holy shit! Shout out to
Listen,
the
I
Northern.
know people from Utah. Like, that's messed up, Nolly. I'm just saying.
Well, what you think about it, Yaz? What you think? You think Nick Cannon should have this show? You think this is in good taste, man? Is this
So,
helpful?
like,
Is this
part of me says yes because I agree with Stephanie. I miss a point in time in the 2000s where we had Rock of Love, Chance of Love. We had fucking Flavor Flav going for love. Like, come on, that shit. That was like he looks like a gremlin, way worse than Lil Wayne does, and they had him out here with like 40. You know what I mean? It was a great time, and I was there just like Stephanie. I was there in Nolly every single week, waiting to see what these bitches were gonna get into. And I'm not gonna lie, it was great. It was awesome. I'm a woman too, and I'd be like, God damn, that's some scandalous shit, and it was good TV, it just hit all the marks, you know what I'm saying? It was raunchy, it was scandalous, and it was just great. So part of me is here for this shit because, like, no lie, this motherfucker has 12 kids. Who the fuck has 12 kids in 2023? Nick Cannon's the only person. So to see his ass having a reality show for love where women are like trying to have his 13th child, just think of the competitions. I'm here for it. I'm not going to lie. I'm totally here for this. It's going to be hilarious. But part of me is like, damn, this man will do anything to make sure his kids can eat. That is a good man. That's a good dad. You know what I'm saying?
He's a good man, Savannah.
I'm just like, this man's trying to solidify his baby's eating. You know what I'm saying? He will do anything, even put himself on blast for a reality show for his 13th child. So I'm like, I'm mostly here for it. I'm not gonna lie. It'll be funny as fuck. Like I will watch that shit I will get cable or find that shit on YouTube just to watch that shit because I think it'd be funny as fuck. I'm not gonna lie.
Steph, then TuRae?
Oh, I just had a quick question for Nolly. What is that from? I hear it all the time. He's a good man, Savannah. What is the origin of this meme?
I forget every fucking time, but every time I'm on TikTok, I'm like, God damn it, this sound again.
Someone in the comments, please let us know where
is it Gone with the Wind?
Yeah.
What was that?
No,
Gone with the Wind.
Savannah wasn't one of the names with Gone with the Wind. Trust me, I know all the like lines.
I took a shot.
And it
was a good one. I'm thinking it's from
Waiting to Exhale.
or something.
Steel Magnolias?
It's Waiting to Exhale.
I was going to say, it sounds like a black woman speaking. Okay.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's when Whitney Houston mom was talking to.
How dare we not know that, man? Two points off the board for us.
Well, we watched it once.
After she flamed that car up, look, I only recognize Ramonda. I don't even see.
Listen, I didn't see the. We're talking about Power when what's this? When the sun took over.
Yeah.
Talking about he killed his father. I don't want to watch this no more.
No.
Yeah,
I don't like this show at all.
Look, what I see. I ain't gonna spoil for those who didn't show, even though it's it's literally like 5 years old. But when Ghost made his exit, I just say I wasn't really as much interested after that. But how you feel about the prospect of a Nick Cannon starring show with Kevin Hart, TuRae, where he basically sells his seed up for the highest bidder?
I think that'd be funny as shit.
Like, really, I'm sitting here like Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon has been has sold the circus of his life all his life. So that's not abnormal for Nick. I'm trying to figure out what's Kevin's angle, and now I'm getting to get angry because it's giving fucking shows away, nigga. I'll take it because it's like you just get like, what's the point in this for Kevin? Like, do your constituents believe in this as being a good look? Because Kev money aligned with a lot of people. Like, do everybody on your team think this is a good look? So it's got to be a friendship thing. And if that's the case, you just giving a nigga a show. Call me. I want my. And I already got the kids. I ain't got it. God damn, nigga.
We keep it 100.
Fuck Nick Cannon. That's how I feel about it. Fuck that show.
Wow. Okay.
Here go the show right here. We already. We already got our costume. Everybody dressed? Fuck.
Okay.
I just want to say it with your chest, TuRae. Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck Nick Cannon. Okay.
Fuck Nick Cannon and his kids. All that shit. Who cares?
All right. See TuRae.
All right. The only thing I want to know is how did they get the kid in there? So Nick going like that's what you're gonna do. You're just going. And speaking of totally separate, do y'all ladies watch The Bachelor? My wife makes me watch that.
No.
Do y'all? Okay. This year I've watched. I see it. You know, I know the show exists, so I don't. This dude that they got on here this year, he kissed everybody. Like this nigga kissed every scene. I mean, I'm like, and to me, I'm like, it's 50 chicks on here, dude. You kiss all these. Like it's crazy. So
He's trying to make sure he give that rose out. You know, he knows what he's getting himself into. Okay, he don't want to just be like
mononucleosis is what he's getting himself into.
I agree, but he just want like he's sampling. Like he's like that kid that's like
that ain't how you sample. Chicks can be real good kissers, and you be mad as shit you married.
Remember when Sam's Club used to have all those ladies around with the samples and stuff like that? And like you could just keep going around, you know what I'm saying? He's like remembering that time. He's like, this is Sam's Club, and I'm
they still got quiet as kept, they still got him. It takes me a while to get out of Sam's Club. Well, I mean, to me, I just don't know what end game is for this. I guess basically instead of him having to pay for it, Nick's smart business wise. You'll look up and all the money will be going to that kid.
Yep.
Well, I don't know. The kissing thing gives me Richard Branson Family Feud vibes. I don't know. That's before Richard. The original
Dawson,
Family Feud.
Richard
Dawson,
Branson.
Yeah, you know,
Virgin America.
Used to kiss out even the black women. He kissed them right in the mouth, right in front of them.
Yo, Rich used to get it in too. Look, and then sometimes Rich would get caught and look back like, okay. You know that's how he met his wife. Like one of them women that he kissed became his wife.
Yo, he's wilding. He's wilding. Well, let's do a real quick
Dawson.
poll. Yeah, Google him. We showed our age.
Yeah,
we showed our age. Look, we having a Gen Z moment, a Gen X moment, man. Let us have our thing, man. Those 80s, 70s babies. But real quick, I'm gonna put this up real quick. And when I put it down, I want y'all to give me a thumbs up if you would definitely watch, a thumbs down if you absolutely would not watch, and then give me something in the middle if you would not even consider it. So let's go. Thumbs up for you would watch. Thumbs down you won't watch. In the middle, I don't even know. I ain't even got no feelings on it. I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3.
Stephanie, yes, that's what I'm talking about.
TuRae got the biggest thumb on earth too, boy. That's it. That thumb right on the screen. What do you say? So real quick, so for the ladies, real quick, Steph, just one more time. So you would watch this because you're looking for another New York, another delicious, another spit moment.
I would love to hate it. I would talk so much shit, but I would watch every week. And the weekly Steph reviews would be epic. TuRae, I'm looking forward to your weekly Bachelor breakdowns. Like, I need this. I really give me a 1 minute clip.
He was that's the only reason maybe because I normally just walk by, but it was like every time I see, I was like, baby, I had to ask my lady, like, do he kiss all of them? She's like, all of them. I was like, and then I sat down, like, yo, this nigga kissed all these chicks, like,
that's disgusting. Oh, God.
And it's so crazy because I done got to the point where it's like now I'm into it. Like I don't even like her for them.
She's not here. She's not here for the right reasons.
No, she's not. That's what he had to send one of them chicks home. She was to him talking about her social media. He was like, I'm not here for that. He had to send her home.
Well, I wanted to, if it's okay with everybody. Oh, this bit isn't going to work. I can tell that it's already echoing. But I wanted to really quick do a forecast of the Nick Cannon family tree here, if it's okay. So if you look over here, it looks like there's all right. I'm aborting this bit. It's not going the way I thought it was going to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and move on back over to where I was, man. It was a good idea at first, but it's not as much. But in the meantime, man, I am interested. Damn, this is live TV, and this is what happens in live TV. For one, personally,
you can still see it. Do the bit. I can see it better like this than when you do big screen.
You got to do it. Okay,
there we go. Now we can see it. Yeah, it looks better now.
Go down the line, and we started off with Mariah Carey because everybody's not familiar with.
He got so many kids that you forgot that he has one of the best singers in history as a baby mom.
Right,
like that's how many kids he got.
In history, yes. This bitch makes $1 million between like in 1 month. She makes $1 million, bro, because every store is playing her. Like legit. Can we just like recognize this? Mariah Carey is in the world one of the top artists because she makes her kids will never ever even her freaking third grandkids will never think about fucking having to work because she makes so much goddamn money.
This is quite the array, if I would say so.
Hey, Nick, hey, I ain't mad at you, Nick.
You know,
right?
I mean, I don't pull out either, but
this looks like a color palette for your like an eyeliner. You know what I'm saying? Like
you know what, and I can appreciate that too. That's nice.
Look at all the different colors of women he's got. Like he's gonna have some beautiful babies, dog. Like look at all these women.
He definitely
Is one
did.
really named Zillion?
Yes.
Get out.
Look at the names, yo. Look at the
Why
names.
do we do this to our children?
Onyx Ice. Is this little girl a Pokemon right here?
Is it Orange Ice?
Onyx Ice. Like, why would you name your baby that? It's
Powerful
just like
queen.
Powerful queen.
Looks like it's Monroe. All right, done here. The one that I like the most is Zan What's that? Zan Mandalorian. I mean, something straight off from Zen La, bro. That could be freaking Silver Surfer's cousin or something. I don't know.
How many damn twins is this
Golden Saigon. Okay, Nick. Hey,
right?
man.
Obviously, we know that he likes certain cultures.
Well, hey, listen. More power to Nick for trying to do whatever it is he's trying to do.
Can we just say, look, all these babies have the same hue, though. He's like he got this in the back, though. Look at all these babies' hues.
Well, I don't know. He's he tries to shop around. I think he likes Starbucks. He likes his sometimes with cream, sometimes not as much cream. You know what I'm saying? He definitely has a thing. But one thing is definitely for certain. Ain't none of them, probably gonna have any problems getting their followers up on IG. You know what I'm saying? Like all of the
I'm the 12th kid. I'm the second kid. I'm the third.
There's a whole thing going on out there, man. So shout out to Kevin Hart. Now, just real quick to burst the bubbles for anybody out there who actually was thinking about watching the show. It is a joke, evidently. It looks like it's gonna be a sketch.
Yeah.
So I mean, even though they had some fun on social media, evidently, according to what Steph put in the group, it seems it was just a joke. If you go to Nick Cannon's Instagram page, it reads, and I quote, Cannon took to social media to tease the project that would arrive this spring. We're expecting a new show on E! He captioned a very official looking poster a day after, drumming up some anticipation by hinting some baby related news. You're going to have some contestants that want to have your baby, Hart says in a short, boisterous promo. The official E! Entertainment Twitter account got in on it too, writing, "We're definitely not kidding around. So exciting for this." Variety soon reported that the game show is a hoax, with Who's Having My Baby destined to be a sketch for an upcoming, not yet announced project. So that's basically what ended up happening here. It's not really a thing. You know what I'm saying? So thanks for nothing, Nick Cannon and Kevin Hart. We was looking forward to having a new Delicious. I want to see another Tiffany New York moment. You know what I'm saying? Where Tiff spit. Did she just spit on me? That fucking bitch just spit on me. That was good TV. Oh, prank wars. Okay, all right.
But we're in the day. We're in the day and age of like. Okay, so prank wars. That sounds cool. April 6th. Okay, that's in 1 month. But like, we're in the day and age though that like we can make anything happen with the internet. So I think if we start tweeting the hell out of this, you know what I'm saying, and commenting on their like IGs and tagging them in this,
he's gonna have to do this on his own. I think Nick would do it. I'm just saying, Kev got partners that would be like, what?
Yeah.
Nike gonna be like, hold tight, wait.
Valid point. You're right. You're right.
But I think Nick can do it. Like, and
I don't
as
think
we
Nick would
talk
do
it through, it don't sound crazy.
Well, MTV could pick that. MTV's the one who does those. So if we keep tweeting this and keep tweeting MTV to do it, they might. You know what I'm saying?
We the end game is finding Nick a 13th suitor. That ain't crazy.
I'm just saying.
Well,
He's gonna probably do it on his own anyway.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna do that. I'm sure he's shopping around for lucky number 13. But the part where
You don't
it
have
gets
to shop.
uncomfortable.
You don't have to shop. You just go out the house.
Put a post out. Post out an address. That's it.
Listen, there's people on the panel that might not be opposed to joining the village of
Not it. I'm not it.
Okay, good. All right.
Holly, what about you? Are you it?
All right, it was
Look, I
I'm
got
sorry.
bills to pay,
I
right?
want Nick's baby.
I got
Come on,
bills.
put it on in here. Bring it on in, Daddy. All right, I'm trying to join the crew. I want to be, I want to be one of the handmaids. You know what I'm saying?
Did you? All right. Well, speaking of which, okay. Did you see the
canon,
dude
period.
on Shade Room who talking about he had 7 kids, but he told them all of them he didn't want to have them?
Nah.
No, but I saw Mel Mitch's parody of it, which I feel like was probably better than the original.
Probably.
Ooh, wow.
Anyway, basically, as the story goes, his brother had 7 kids, but he was on live video venting about how these 7 women kept the kid, even though I told them I ain't want to have no babies. They the only ones that did this. I'm like, so basically, these are the 7 that decided to keep a child.
Right.
That don't count all the ones that you might have wanted to have and all the ones that did destroy you. It's like, are you kidding me? You exist, nigga? You out here for real?
This
Let me
man
call
is
my
so
daughter.
dumb, but like
Male
also birth control. Like it's a thing. If you know
Like, and I
you
get it. I get it. That's what I'm saying. I'll when I look at this, I would judge you from the eyes of a trifling man. One time that happens. Once. Not 7, bro. Not 7. One time. Oh, shit, she gonna keep the baby? I ain't doing this again. Not 7. And 7 different women. It's not like you form relationships with any of these women. It's 7. These people exist out here. And you're not Nick Cannon rich because they chasing them for child support.
Go ahead, Steph.
I'm judging all sides here. Like this man is trifling. Clearly, either has weak pullout game or doesn't even attempt. sounds to me like he's not trying to have done this 7 times.
You don't try.
Like just from the viewpoint of the women, like we all had health class. We know about why biology works. Why are you out here letting ain't shit niggas shoot the club up if you're not taking the pill?
Wow.
Sorry, just
and what makes you think him shooting the club up gonna make him into a shit nigga? He ain't shit nigga. It's not gonna change him.
That part.
This what he do.
Ooh, no matter how good your vagina is, it is not going to change a man.
You
It's
cannot
not
make
going
a
to change
hoe
him.
into a husband.
So don't invite him in if he ain't shit, because he's going to be ain't shit after too.
All right. Speaking from the I used to ain't be shit and now I kind of am shit club. I just want to say some of us can change and get a little better, but most of us
But
can't.
not because of the vagina, because you decide you didn't put it in and be like, "Oh, this is so good. I'm a change man." You decided to change.
Stephanie, you don't know. We can have God between our legs. You don't know.
If vagina could change a man, I'd have changed a couple. Okay, I'm telling you from experience. It's not gonna change him. If it worked, I would have been did it.
It's funny you bring this up. First of all, I know a lot of folks, we don't like to get into politics, but one thing Biden did when it comes to Afghanistan is pull out. You might could learn a little bit from him, homeboy. So I would say definitely Mel Mitch had something to say about these things, which kind of leads us into our next subject. Honestly, before we get into Mandalorian, before we get into The Last of Us real quick before we go, there was a hot button topic that happened last week. And I wanted to kind of get into it because the young ladies on the panel didn't have a chance to kind of get into this real quick. We had a post that we made since we got my man here from Philly. One time for Philadelphia, yo, it's beat straight in the face to young Pete, and I got what it takes to rock the mic right here. You know what I'm saying? We had a little post about Rocky, you know what I'm saying, and how he being a whole bitch. I said it, Sly Stallone being a whole bitch by not wanting to watch a movie just because he's not in it. I thought that was some whole shit, and we talked about it. You know, now listen, I could still like Demolition Man and think Sylvester Stallone is acting like a bitch for this. You know what I'm saying? And some other things he said to some photographers and some reporters that tried to come up to him a long time ago has come to resurface. However, one of the folks who, honestly is somebody that I knew, so it got uncomfortable, had a weird comment to make and basically came out. And by the way, I didn't want to put the goddamn name on blast because I don't want to make folks we don't fuck with famous. But it was too difficult to take the name out before the show. So just keeping it real. We got somebody say, oh, so now we're going to act like Sassadone is racist. And this is just replying to Steph basically saying.
You leave it up. Stop taking it down.
Yo, basically, it was like, look, we think that he might not be watching the movie because it's too black for him. I mean, it was a comment. It's her opinion, and whether or not you agree with it or not, we support. We say at the end of every show, be your authentic self, and that's who Steph is. That's why we love her. So whether we agree or not, we want her to say what the fuck she mean, and we gonna support it even if we disagree. I'm gonna keep it real, and I ain't actually think it was that far off, to be honest, because it is the most blackest Creed movie yet, if I'm being honest. But says, oh, so now we're gonna act like Salon Laces. It's probably with the producers who are white. Bullshit, homeboy, because they've been owning this shit since the first Rocky piece of anyway. And it has to do with the rights to the movies, not Creed. He should have had a proper farewell in the movie. He damn well more deserves it. Discussing the point out how people of color twist and change narratives without giving people facts and more. We're away. Completely ignorant statement. Just gonna say it outright. But the clapback squad was quick to land on them, and it wasn't ready. Yeah, somebody call an ambulance. And then clapback number 2 comes with Naughty saying, look, how many send-offs is Rocky gonna need? He had 11 movies. He literally said he was done, and now he wants more. Yes, but not to be silenced. Here comes your boy. Hold on, it was me. I think I actually came. He was like, I was like, all right, well, let me chime in because I actually know dude personally a little bit. And I was like, look, it's just jokes and opinions, Gus. Racism wasn't even mentioned. You clearly was triggered by it. No need to bring out the cape, homeboy. Slide will be just fine. The Expendables Part 11 drops next year. Thanks for the engagement, pimp. I typically try to start with the de-escalation aspect, and Nolly taught me that. She actually has turned some people from being straight haters into what time does your show air? I wouldn't mind watching, you know what I'm saying? So I thought that approach would work, but nah, old boy doubles down. And he says, he basically comes back and says, oh yeah, well, I get it. The brothers is making jokes, and it's the female that doubled down and took it left. If I'm not mistaken, she also commented on my comment, chose to show her intelligence, quotes, by being very disrespectful, inappropriate, while addressing me directly. Just imagine it as a man. I had went at her that way. The pitchforks would be out, SMH. So I had issues with the producers. And in fact, he said he would love to do another with Michael if he could. It is what it is, though. I guess these people will all have an agenda in the end. I hope it works out in their favor, whatever that may be. And not to be silenced, Steph came back and was like,
it's because in another comment I called him baby girl.
Yeah. And I love how she does that. It gets right up in their booty. every time Naughty gets that, baby girl, unclench. They'd be like, no, I'm clenching. So she comes back and says, look, the brothers were making jokes about it. It's the female that doubled down and took it left. Ooh, misogyny is almost a parody of itself. This is going to be delicious material. Hint, hint. Thank you for your service in support of my comedy. And clapback number 2. You seem super emotional. Sorry I hurt your feelings, but female said all I need to know about you. And that kind of brings us to this next topic, because the next comment basically says it all. But aren't you a female? And I think that right now there is a little bit of clashing of cultures and the updating of terminology, as right now we don't even know whether or not some men are up to par with whether or not they should or should not be using the word female when talking to. Now, for me and you, TuRae, I get it a little bit. There was a time when female was kind of like considered like dude, like homie, like chick, something like that. But I think times have progressed a tiny bit. And one person who has kind of been very instrumental in bringing this to the forefront is this young lady, my FAMU sister, Mel Mitch.
Yo, welcome back. Another episode of the Hoes Not Human podcast. Today we got a special guest that is a female. We found a female to come on the show.
What's up, y'all?
Welcome. Sorry you ain't got a mic. We only had 2. But anyway, so women literally serve no purpose ever in the entire universe. Like, God just needed us to have somebody to have dominion over. Literally, God came to me in a dream and told me this. So we could even have babies without women. We don't need women. Bars. You can put some semen in aluminum foil and put it in the air fryer for 47 minutes and you're going to have a baby. That's really how babies are made. We really don't need all that 9-month stuff. Like, we don't need women, right? Bro, right? Bro, I gotta take my glasses off on now.
As a female, like, I hold my man down. Like, if you doing a bid, I'll do the bid for you. If you get shot, I'll get shot for you. Like, I will do whatever for my man because, like, that's my man.
She a real one.
What does he do return? Nothing. He's a man. Like, all he gotta do is be my man.
They not gonna like this one. Women are not human beings. They just there for decoration.
Quite Dietrich, stop. You are so, oh my God, brother. I agree, and I'm a female. So, I'm a female and I agree. So
y'all not trying to hear me though. Y'all not trying to, because when I said it, because when I say stuff, y'all don't want to hear me.
So it's hilarious, but it also addresses some of the stuff that's actually out there right now. And if I'm keeping it real, you out? You gotta go?
2 questions.
Okay.
Number one, because I gotta go back. The Sly Stallone, what do we know that Sly Stallone said? Because you know, like a lot of times the media will pull a clip, like the media be having y'all arguing with each other and nobody even said nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like they'll pull up some, so it's like, you know, what was exactly said about the Sly Stallone shit.
Okay.
And secondarily, they exist on their own. Like, to me, they exist on their own. Creed is not a Rocky movie. Rocky movies exist on their own. Rocky won Best Picture. Creed, not one of the Creeds is ever in danger of winning Best Picture. Like, we ain't got, so they exist on their own. So all of this is, you know, like we want to read that into it, and immediately it's like, oh, it's too black for him. It's like, here we go. Whatever. Like, he might not want it because the shit is, he might feel some part of, like, listen, that's some shit I started, them niggas and went on without me. Has nothing to do with what color. It'd be the same thing with anything. That's that. I don't know if that's the case, but if that is, that's that. To this one, I've never seen that young lady. She's so funny. I just have a question. Does she do a parody of female podcasts?
Well, I think that the problem, and this is going to be, I'm glad
you No, she doesn't. She doesn't do a parody of female podcasts, is the answer. No, she doesn't.
I don't have a
she
negative.
She doesn't, Vince. I understand. You're surrounded, but she doesn't.
I'm not saying that she doesn't.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
She doesn't. If she did, you would have seen it. Like, she got part 1 and part 2 of the male misogynistic. Does she have one that parodies the female podcast?
I think that, well, to address the first thing, what Rocky said is that he won't see the movie. And he's saying he won't see the movie because he has an issue with Henry Winkler, with Winkler and them, who are the producers of the movie, not bringing him back into the fold for this particular movie. And the problem we have with that is that if he really likes Michael B. Jordan when he's making one of his directorial debuts, why is he allowing all of a sudden that he's not in the movie when the Winklers have owned the rights to Rocky since the original Rocky? You know what I'm saying? So all of a sudden, because he passed the baton, like he literally in the video, which we recommend you go check out on our Instagram, hallelujah. Please feel free to hit that follow button, shameless plug. But yeah, it's on our Instagram right now. And he says in there, the quotes are there. He says, there could have been so much more. I don't want them going into a dark place. I like my heroes getting beat up, you know, not going into that dark place. And we made light of it, Tyrone and I, about him saying dark place and how it could mean something else. Stephanie took it to where she does. Stephanie is our resident Dr. Umar. She ain't gonna cut it. She gonna get it to you. You know what I'm saying? And so the problem I have with it though is if your issue is with the movie, it's with the producers. Why are you taking that out on Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut? Also, I feel like he expects the movie to be trash because he's not in it, and he feels like because he took these rights, he got sued, all right, by Wepner. Chuck Wepner, who was the guy who went up against Muhammad Ali. This whole story, this whole thing of original Creed was actually modeled after after Muhammad Ali. And so this is the son of Muhammad Ali, so to speak. And this is the story of Chuck Wepner, who actually went 9 rounds with Muhammad Ali and still lost. And Chuck Wepner sued and they settled. So
I'm sorry, I have to stop you. I'm a Rocky aficionado. So let's I'm born and raised in Philadelphia. So let's tell this real story. When they say based on a true story, that can be like if I do a story in my life, and like and somebody say based on a true story, the only thing he went to Catholic school. The rest could be whatever they make up. So the story of Rocky that's a love story. It's about Rocky and Adrian. It really has nothing to do with this downtrodden boxer who gets a shot at the heavyweight title. That's the only part that Chuck Webber. That's it.
Well,
the
why did they
rest,
settle?
Huh?
If that story had nothing to do with Chuck Webner, why settle? Why not go to bat? It's not like Chuck Webner has this big law firm that he can have represent him.
Because he admitted to Chuck that I took some of that story for you, and Chuck went and ran with it. So, also, do you know that he was offered a part in Rocky 2? Chuck Webner got high.
To make up for the fact he got left off bad and bougie in the first one.
No. He was offered a part in Rocky 2. Like Rocky, first of all, Rocky 1, they didn't know that it was going to be a success. And Sylvester Stallone held it close to the chest. Like, no, they wanted to get that shit to Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford. He was like, no, I got to play Rocky. So when it comes and wins first picture and best screenplay, that's my fucking movie. That's my movie, not nobody else's. So we move forward. Rocky 2, I give you a role. I give you a shot at auditioning for a role. Chuck Webner gets high and never makes it to the audition. You got to watch the Chuck Webner story and then come back and say, here nor there. What I'm saying is this thing makes billions of dollars or millions of hundreds. So when somebody show up with you settle. Just like the lady that says she invented the Matrix and all that. They cut her check like here. Because other than that, it's going to be.
But TuRae.
That's why he settled. I'm answering that question. But we move forward. All I'm saying is this. It could be that, but it could also be, and you know this, fuck them. They went on without me. You see at all the comedy shows, the niggas that went on without you, you still be going to support?
Yeah, I told the panel, I was like, if I fuck around and I see a new Blurred Order movie and I ain't in it, I'm gonna be hot. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. But it's also like the fact that Chuck Webner, I mean, I know that they settled everything, and I'm going to you, Nolly, but it's just a weird bitterness about it that says he knows since this is nothing new to Ray. He sold the rights so that he could play Rocky. That was something that he should have considered down the line. And in addition to that, in Creed 2, he said it's time to pass these are his words, not mine. I am going to pass the baton to Michael B. Jordan in Creed. At some point in time, all good things must pass. And then when Creed gets the baton, can you imagine if Michael Johnson was passed the baton from Jesse Owens or from Carl Owen or Carl Lewis, and then once Michael Johnson starts beating his record, he's like, man, what the fuck? How you gonna beat my record, bro? It's like, nigga, you passed me the goddamn baton. That's one of the issues I have with this.
They're not beating no records, but
well, listen, Creed is doing all right right now. I ain't seen it yet, but it's doing all right. All I'm saying is, if you really felt that way, why feel that way now?
Ain't gonna be no Creed statue, bro. Like,
I know he's coming at Philly.
It's a whole different.
I know he's coming at Philly, so there's some heart in it. He's gotta wait. You know what I'm saying? So I know TuRae used to go up them steps every day. So I don't want to have no problems with North, South, East Philly, Central Philly. I don't know.
I'm just saying, all right. Put it like this: if they do a Wire movie and Michael B. Jordan says, "Well, I'm probably not gonna see it," y'all gonna have the same reaction?
No, because Michael B. Jordan did not actually say I'm passing the baton to whoever else it is. Michael B. Jordan didn't own the rights and sell them. Like Rocky had
y'all adding in the semantics. You're adding in the semantics. If he say he don't want to see it, he don't want to see it. He gotta fucking see it. Y'all want it to be nice, and it don't always be nice in Hollywood. Them niggas don't. Sometimes it be business. The reason we working together is because of business.
Fair points.
You know what I'm saying? So if you asked him, and again, I think I'm not defending. I'm not saying he's right. I'm saying that Rocky is his thing. Like that's who he is. Like really. Like I'm sure that man still get called Rocky instead of I'm sure people walk right up to him and go, "Hey, it's Rocco," as opposed to Sylvester Stallone. Now Michael B. Jordan, they call that nigga Michael B. Jordan. And I'm not saying he's not a great actor. What I'm saying is he has his identity as an actor. All Sylvester Stallone got at this point is Tulsa and Rocky.
I don't know.
So he might be get off my lawn, kid. He might be on that type of time.
Now, do you still have something to say? Uh-oh. No? Is that a no?
What?
Can you hear me, Nolly? You had your hand up.
Yes.
What's up?
Oh no, I was gonna say the same thing, that he had done this whole interview where he said that he was done. He wasn't gonna be in any more movies. He was completely done with the projects. And then that other interview where he was like, I'm not part of, I don't appreciate that I'm not, part of it, and I got left out. But you said that you wasn't gonna do it no more.
Yeah. So listen, this has definitely got folks in their feelings, especially folks that are hardcore fans of Rocky.
I gotta see Creed though. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen.
I haven't seen it either. I heard it's really good.
Check it out. But I enjoy them both. I'm a big Rocky fan. One day I want to recreate the engagement where he asked Adrian to marry him. I mean, me and my lady gonna take photos at the Philadelphia Zoo in that scene. But I'm a big Rocky fan. But I enjoy Creed too. I enjoy. I guess I enjoy that genre. I like where they went with it. I like how they brought back the, I haven't seen it yet, but I like how they, remember me? I like all that. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. And sometimes I need to be there with it. Like, I can't get into all of this because then I ain't gonna be able to enjoy it. It's like sometimes I just want to go enjoy the movie. I don't care who likes it.
I got you.
So sometimes but I've enjoyed the first two. I thought it stuck to the Rocky mold, meaning make it about that relationship first, and then what it takes to keep it together, and then in the ring, you get the good fight. So hoping that 3 will be the same. I don't know what Slide's talking about, a dark place sometimes. Like, nigga, in Rocky 3, Mick died at the beginning, and then Rocky 4, Apollo. What do you mean dark? Like, nigga, people's getting killed, like left and right.
Exactly.
and Drago, if he dies. He
dies. Yeah.
Look down on him. Like,
I don't run up a whole mountain.
That's your man. He dead. Oh well. Like, that ain't dark. He killed that man in front of his wife. So I don't know.
Thank you.
He killed that man in front of his wife.
That's all.
Mr. T killed Mick, pushed Mick down the steps.
Yeah.
Rocky 3. Yo, he was. I really don't think Mr. T gets enough credit for the villain he was. He was such a villain. He said to Adrian, he said, hey, I bet you lay awake in bed every night, wish you had a real man. Tell you what, bring your pretty self over to the apartment. Now listen, she's married to the heavyweight champion of the world. She's staying in a mansion. That nigga told her come over to his apartment. Bring your little pretty self over to my apartment, and I'll show you.
Troll level expert. What's up,
man? Yes, Clubber Land.
Steph, you have something?
Just to go back to the root of the topic real quick, females versus women. Females can describe any creature that has multiple genders, with one of them being female. That can be, or multiple sexes. That can be, a female horse, a female cow, a female chicken. Women are female humans. And not every person, but many people who use female instead of women do so in an intentionally derogatory way, just like it's less common. But people talk about like, use men in sort of an uplifting way. Well, men should do this and men should do that. Whereas if they were to say males, it's more like, okay, the implication is that you're not a man. You're not the fulfillment of what a man should be. So often people who use females instead of women, it is even subconsciously in a derogatory sense to imply that people with 2 X chromosomes in this group that you're describing are not women, that they're lesser than, they're females.
Go ahead, TuRae.
I had never had it explained that way, but you are absolutely 100% right. It is just the facts. Let's take the emotions out. Just the facts. You're right. Because it's a female horse. A female is the sex of a creature on this planet. A woman is a female human being. And I would say it takes to not thinking of it. It is that way. You're very much that way. Because when you said female, when y'all said this topic, the first thing I thought of, when you like female versus women, first thing I thought of is that line from Friday when Debo smacks.
That's literally what I said.
But you gotta watch Friday. He smacked her out the movie, nigga.
That's a female.
He wasn't back in the movie until the end.
Yeah.
He smacked her out and Craig grabbed. He said, "Debo, that's a female."
Yep.
Meaning she's lesser. then you're a beast man in this moment, because that's what you was acting like. You just hit her. So you were acting like a beast. And in the battle of beasts, she's a lesser. That's what he was trying to convey to him. Like, Debo, that's a female. But you've never heard somebody say, I like grown females.
Yeah.
You'd be like, nigga, what? You sound
Females
like
takes the
you sound like a
humanity
pedophile saying it like that. I like grown women.
Nobody.
I like grown women. Ain't
You
nothing
might
better
say,
than a
like-
grown woman. Or what's up where the grown women at? You don't never where the grown females. What?
Wow.
So yeah, it's all it is meant to be. If you say it in that aspect, yes, it's a lesser. You're lesser of the beast. You're lesser of this situation. Yeah, I gotta agree.
You can hear a man say, "Oh, females be tripping," but nobody's like, "I'm going home to my female."
Yeah,
or,
like nobody going home to
my
their
daughter's
female.
really growing into a young female. It's I'm
Yes.
going home to my woman.
I'm
My
going home to
daughter
my
is
woman.
a young woman, but
Yes.
females are tripping. Females
Yes.
don't know how to act.
Yes. Yes.
Well, thank you for the enlightenment, and I mean that is something that I learned the hard way. I mean, I was the guy in the comment section when this first came across. I was like, "What you mean? Like, aren't you a?" I didn't understand. It had to be broke down to me, and I love being able to have the association with the young ladies on this panel that can kind of make sure that I am aware that sometimes I don't even know, like, there's inadvertent, unintentional bias and disrespect that I don't even realize I'm doing inadvertently.
Here's the beauty of a woman. They won't let you be wrong if they care about you. I got one. Now she might, like you might have that aggressive nigga, you can't say nothing to him. She'll be like, "But I'm just saying, babe." You know what I'm saying? And that's my daughters and their mom, and my lady is closest to me. So that's the relationship I have with women. I have a lot of women in my life that I have to respect and respect individually. I have to have my own relationships with my daughters, and I have a 28-year-old daughter. I have 20-year-old daughters. I have, see what I'm saying? And then their mothers. Sometimes talking to my boys, sometimes my friend of mine did some, baby mom did something he blasted on social media, and I said, take this down, because the fact that she's the mother of your son affords her certain levels of protection, especially from this type of shit.
Yeah,
and you have to understand that women are one thing, mothers are a different thing. So I deal with women and I deal with mothers. And just to back to what I said, a real woman won't let you be wrong if she cares about you. If she don't care about you, you go be wrong all day. But if she cares, she's gonna tell you, "Yo, you was wrong on that," or And so even in your friendship of having these young ladies around you, they gonna tell you like, "Nah,
oh yes,
that's not how you say it."
Oh yeah, now one of these women gonna let me look. I've been checked multiple times, correctly so.
Man, I didn't. It done been so many times she done went out that door, and I had to call her, text her at work, like, "You know what? I'm sorry." And I've learned to say that more when it matters and when I'm wrong. But I've learned to say that more. Like, sometimes you can feel it, and as you say, how black people apologize, like, "You want something to eat?" No, I've learned to. When you live with a man, it'd be like, "Look, you want to say things," but I've learned to say, "I'm sorry for saying that. I'm sorry for hurting your feelings. I'm sorry for not hearing you and listening," because they won't let you be wrong if they care about you. And I, Steph, appreciate that eloquence and explaining it, because now I'll be able to explain it to somebody when I hear them say, I'm like, "Nah, female's wrong." "What you mean, nigga?" "I'm just saying." I'll be sounding, you done help me out. Like, I'm gonna sound so eloquent now. I'll be like, "Yo, that's a female creature." You understand? A woman.
I love it. Look at us. The more you
each
know.
one teach one.
We did that. Well, look, the time is whittling down, and we wanted to talk about some. I mean, we literally went completely off script today, and we went hot topic instead of nerd topic, and it's cool. But it is funny that you mentioned pedophiles, because one of these shows this week actually.
How is that a segue?
What?
It's funny that you mentioned pedophiles, because this week on
What
Last of
segue was this?
I didn't like that transition.
Yes.
Nobody liked that transition.
That wasn't
It's funny I should mention women.
It's
Now,
funny how you. No,
there are women on the Last
there's a
of Us.
literal pedophile in the
was a
show.
bad
This is not me trying to cap for pet. I'm not sitting there like, well,
Stop
the pedophiles
saying
in the
it.
world aren't
Stop
giving
saying
enough.
it.
I'm gonna take myself out of this, so I'm not associated with this right now.
Wait a minute, what is happening right now? I didn't say. Why don't we? Hey, where you going? What's the?
It's just Nobody wants that to be the topic. Nobody wants to lead with that.
I mean, you didn't even let me finish my.
Let's just pick a different segue and then we can edit that one out.
All I said was
He's very talented. Let's just leave
we
it at
gonna
that.
edit that one out. Like
I wasn't trying to. I'm not caping for. I was trying to say that.
we know, Vince. It's okay. Different segue. We're good.
All right. Well, in other news, speaking of young women, there's a young woman on this show that I watch called Last of Us, and she dealt with somebody who was trying to romance her, even though she was an underage individual.
Beautifully done.
All right.
And that's our show today, ladies and gentlemen. Please come back and check us out. Well, look, man, we honestly legit don't even have no time for it. So, I mean, I just wanted to go ahead and shout out Last of Us as it did have what I consider to be a really good episode this week. We can't even really talk about it because the show has been justifiably used to not only speak on hot topics, but also to educate the folks that are watching. Once again, shout out to everybody watching on Twitter. Make sure y'all follow us on subscribe to our YouTube as well, and make sure y'all follow Comedy by TuRae on Instagram as well. Steph, it's still funny. Steph, what's going on? What are you laughing? What is so funny, yo? What is so funny, man?
Nobody speaks of
it.
It was bad. It was really bad.
Nobody speaks of it. Nobody ever brings it in like that either. Speaking of it.
I didn't mean to. I was just saying that. All right, you know the worst part about it is I actually thought in advance about that. I was like,
right,
okay,
you set that up.
I can use that. I was like, I'm gonna use that as a segue.
That was the trigger word for you.
This is a man that has 2 daughters, and he thought that segue was.
But I'm not trying to be.
I'm just saying we're gonna have to check. We're gonna have to check your segues, Vince.
Okay.
We know that you're not praising them. We know that you're not relating to or supporting them. It's just as a lead topic to start with. This is what we're discussing. Is so uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, who the fuck was speaking of him? I said it down.
None of us was speaking, and then you just like out of nowhere were like, so speaking of, and it was very generalized, my friend. It was
all right. Well, my apologies. What I just say, TuRae? TuRae. Literally, what did I just say? I said they not gonna let me not get checked. It happened in real time, homeboy. Now you see what I'm talking about. You see what I'm talking about.
But everybody checked. You're like me and Steph at the same time.
Oh my God!
If that would have been an interview with like a dignitary, niggas would have hit you with the. They wouldn't even say nothing. They'd be like.
All right, well, let me get my mentions out at least, man. Let me get my mentions out. All right, so this week's of Last of Us was a fairly decent, well, I thought was a good episode where we did encounter a bunch of different characters. I definitely suggest watching it, and tomorrow is actually the season finale, so we'll be talking about that. But also this week, we didn't get a chance to talk about it at length, but we also had an episode of Mandalorian in which we did get to see Bo-Katan wield the black saber damn near better than Mando did himself.
She got busy.
She was completely in control.
You thought your dad was the only one? Zoom, zoom.
She didn't even have no problem. She didn't even have no problem like holding
she was like, she's like, yo, I need you to calm down, show me where he at. That's it. That's all.
That's it. Yo, pull up. I'm finna pull up. You know what I'm saying?
I'm about to go get your pop.
Just
you want me to
like
get your
that.
pop, right?
And she even went out to set him straight. Like, let's get rid of this motherfucker. Okay, let's go ahead and pull up on him then. Right. And went ahead and handled that, man. So unfortunately, we're gonna go ahead and give a quick shout out to Bo-Katan and her ability to wield the lightsaber, even though Pop Dukes couldn't handle it against what looks like Shuma Garath, but evidently was just some sort of monster in a
I thought that too. But when he detached the first time, I was like, no, that's not him.
What's up, Steph? Real quick, we only got 2 minutes.
The mythagore, like the creature that was in the water, yo. That like, did anyone else like? Yeah. Did y'all see it?
Yes.
Please tell me y'all saw it. Because I literally, when dude was walking in the water, I was like, this is not going to end well. He should. I should have took a video because Austin was like literally fucking dying.
You ain't seen
about episode 1. I think we're on episode 2. You talk about the crocodile?
latest one, the dragon thing that was underwater.
In the water.
Yeah, the water. It was okay. So, and that was cool. But I'm talking about episode 2.
Oh, okay. Oh shit.
So, did you see it, Vince?
It was quick.
Oh, you didn't see?
It was quick.
When she was
It
coming
at
back
the
up?
end. It was at the very end. Yes, when he was coming up, she literally went into the whole.
That's why when she came out the water, he was like, "Thank you." She was sitting there like,
yes, when he the best part about it, she went into a whole monologue on their way there about how, like, you know, like the whole Mandalorians are like, you know, they literally got their names from this creature and everything, and how this creature is like it's extinct and all this shit. And then next thing you know, he's like, I'm gonna go bathe in the water, and he goes bathe in the water, and then he's gone. And then next thing you know, she like goes after him, grabs him, picks him up, and then next thing you know, she sees it in the eye of it, just looks at her, and as soon as she blasted up, the creature went away, and I was like, yo, that was some fucking shit. Fuck. And I like literally paused it and rewind. I was like, did you see that motherfucker's eye? They were the size of the motherfucker's eye. It was crazy.
it's going to be next episode when she came up out that water. He's of course recovering.
Right.
And she has a mask on, so you can't tell, but she definitely got this look on her face.
She was like, I'm shitting bricks right now. That
was like,
let me do this. We're out of time. Let's do a little after show. I know Steph's got to go, but if y'all can pull up just for like 20, 30 more minutes, let's talk some more nerd shit since we didn't get to it. But for right now, we got to go ahead and let everybody go. Make sure you all are your authentic selves. If you're not, you're being fake. And in all that you do, make sure y'all let that geek flag fly. Pull up to the after show. We're going to be on Twitter. We're going to be on Twitch. And
I love the new blurred order. You should too.